you know, being that you obviously, again, appealing to Team Crawford, can you confirm? Are we going to see that fight? Has it been made official? Is it official?
It's on, baby. September 13, baby. Look forward to it. Crawford versus Canelo.
Who heard it?
This is how I said it.
Are we getting this confirmation here?
Last year, Canelo Alvarez fought on September 14th, around the Mexican Independence Day. And it's only normal that his annual September fight comes up on September 13th this year. It's been reported that the Mexican champion has booked the T-Mobile Arena for September 13th this year as he looks set to take on Terence. Bud Crawford said that just about a year after his fight against Edgar Berlanga, at the same location, a fight that clashed with the UFC.
Oh, you never know in boxing. I'll go up and down and fight everybody out there. So it's possible. Why not?
Canelo Alvarez has been rumored to take on Terence Crawford in a potential super fight later. In 2025, the Mexican pugilist is a boxing icon and has had an illustrious career. Both him and Crawford are two of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world at the moment, and a showdown between them would be a spectacle Canelo Alvarez might be getting older, but age hasn't done anything to slow down his momentum and status as the face of boxing. Boxing fans haven't been overly pleased with his opponent choices in recent years, with many claiming he's avoiding the very best, like David Benavidez.
Yeah, it's confirmed. Man, what?
Say less.
Crawford versus Canelo, not the other way around. Team Crawford stand up, pound for pound, the best in the world, soon to be the super middleweight champion.
Despite that, Alvarez has continued to sell out every arena he fights at regardless of opponent. The same will happen later this year, as a much-anticipated bout against Terence Crawford has been all but finalized. Everything points to that fight happening on September 13th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. But will Canelo be out of action for that long? It's unlikely, and boxing may have uncovered the date and location of his next fight. Boxing Scene learned Thursday that 4 fight cards are reserved on the Strip for March 22nd, March 29th, April 5th, and May 3rd. The last of which is a great. Unknown for now.
I respect Crawford. He's a great fighter, and I always say that. No disrespect him, but sometimes it's a little crazy. The people.
For Canelo, that third date is obviously the one to keep an eye on. Canelo has fought on the weekend of Cinco de Mayo every year since 2019, excluding the COVID year in 2020. 3 of those 5 fights came at the T-Mobile Arena, so we can definitely connect the dots. It's not a sure thing though, given how important the fight against Crawford is. Alvarez could choose to take more time off and keep his body fresh, but he doesn't like to take too much rest time if his past history is anything to go by. As for who he would fight, William is the main option. The IBF super middleweight champion has been in talks with Canelo's team since the beginning of the year.
It's a little crazy, the people talking about a small fighter like Charlo. He's big, which he is big.
Canelo, though, is now 34 years old, and while he has shown no signs of slowing down, he is arguably nearing the end of his career in a recent chat with Ring magazine. Canelo revealed, when he might consider hanging up the gloves, he said, "I don't know. Yeah, I'm getting closer to retirement, obviously, but I'm feeling great. I feel better than ever. But maybe at 38, yeah. I think 38 would be the perfect time to start." Thinking about that, he further added, "I have had difficult fights and ones I didn't need in those moments. I take risks my whole career. I really love what challenges and what I do. And I try to show everybody how good I am. I love to go up and down and wait. I never look at my record and say I did this. My trainer always talks about it, and he always shows me the things I've done. All the world champions. And it's very impressive."
Named you and Terence Crawford as one of the top 5 fights that he wants to see this year. Is that a fight that you're considering now?
We'll see. We'll see. Everything is possible. We'll see. We want to talk about it. Sit down.
Canelo Alvarez last beat Edgar Berlanga back in September 2024. Reports suggest his rumored bout against Terence Crawford is close to becoming a reality in 2025. For now, the future of this potential fight remains quite certain both. Fighters have existing commitments, and the possibility of an agreement will hinge on several factors, including contract negotiations and strategic decisions from both teams. There aren't many fighters that have shared the ring with both Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, the only man to do so inside a professional. Ring was Amir Khan suffering stoppage defeats to the pair, and he's already given his thoughts on how a potential Crawford versus Canelo matchup would go.
What do I think of that fight?
Yeah.
I think that, everybody knows that Crawford got the skills. I do think that Canelo's a little big for Crawford. And it'll be a tall task for him.
There are a few more that have sparred the two men though, and one of them has now given his take on how he thinks the fantasy clash could unfold. That man is middleweight. Contender Coroni Davis, who even took on fellow Canelo rival David Benitez back in November 2021, having sparred both Bud and Canelo Davis, told Mill Boxing that he thinks it would be extremely tough for Crawford and would back Alvarez to get the victory. Canelo is a big guy. It's going to be a lot. He can take a punch, so you're not going to hurt Canelo. I don't think Crawford can hurt him with one punch. Maybe he can cut an eye or something, or bother him to the body.
It'll be a lot we have to. It'll be a lot to get that victory based on size alone. Not that size wins fights, but you got a guy that got size and skills. It'll be hard.
He has to get some flesh on gloves and go to the body. It's going to be a tall task. Canelo can really fight. He has moves and traps. It's not easy in boxing. Nothing is impossible. But if I had to bet, I'd put money on Canelo. I'm not taking anything away from Crawford, but Canelo is great. Can Canelo stop him? He's a bigger guy. I think one punch can do it. Oscar De La Hoya, despite his complicated relationship with Canelo Alvarez, has shared his thoughts on a possible showdown between the Mexican superstar and Terence Crawford.
Finally, Oscar, Terence Crawford says he wants to fight Canelo. He's changed his tune. He said he's willing to move up 3 weight divisions. To me, that's kind of crazy, but that just shows you, like, man, the dog that's in Terence Crawford.
De La Hoya insists that his predictions regarding any potential fight involving Canelo are unbiased. Oscar De La Hoya has a bold opinion on the potential outcome of this hypothetical matchup. The former world champion believes that Canelo, with his greater size and power, would have a clear advantage over Crawford at 154. Crawford didn't really look too dangerous up in the ring against a beast, so imagine Canelo being the bigger guy, being a beast. It's almost like a no contest. I mean, come on, when has a smaller good guy ever beaten a bigger good guy? It's never happened in the history of the sport. It's rare. De La Hoya told Fight Hub TV Crawford, renowned for his technical ability and punching power, would face a significant physical challenge in taking on Canelo at his natural weight.
Canelo?
Terence Crawford will beat Canelo anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime. Because, and this is look.
While some experts believe Terence Crawford possesses the skills to compete with Canelo, the disparity in size and power could prove decisive. Demetrius Andrade, a former super middleweight world champion, weighed in on this highly anticipated matchup.
Just too much overall. Like, is that kind of the same thing with the Crawford and Canelo because of the weight classes, the weight between them?
Yeah, I believe so.
I love Crawford. He's a good friend. We reach out to each other. We've been traveling the world through the amateur program. He saw me beat people up. I saw him beat people up. I think the stories could go on, but when it comes to weight empowerment, that stuff is real.
It'll be a lot we have to. It'll be a lot to get that victory based on size alone. Not that size wins fights, but you got a guy that got size and skills. It'll be hard.
He has to get some flesh on gloves and go to the body. It's going to be a tall task. Canelo can really fight. He has moves and traps. It's not easy in boxing. Nothing is impossible. But if I had to bet, I'd put money on Canelo. I'm not taking anything away from Crawford, but Canelo is great. Can Canelo stop him? He's a bigger guy. I think one punch can do it. Oscar De La Hoya, despite his complicated relationship with Canelo Alvarez, has shared his thoughts on a possible showdown between the Mexican superstar and Terence Crawford.
You never know in boxing. I'll go up and down and fight everybody out there. So it's possible. Why not?
Canelo Alvarez has been rumored to take on Terence Crawford in a potential super fight later. In 2025, the Mexican pugilist is a boxing icon and has had an illustrious career. Both him and Crawford are two of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world at the moment, and a showdown between them would be a spectacle Canelo Alvarez might be getting older, But age hasn't done anything to slow down his momentum and status as the face of boxing. Boxing fans haven't been overly pleased with his opponent choices in recent years, with many claiming he's avoiding the very best, like David Benavidez.